My guest right now, 5-time All-Pro, good friend of the show, 7-time Pro Bowl linebacker, Panthers radio analyst Luke Kuechly. Are you already studying for the season? Like, what does that even look like?
I'm getting excited. Our youth football season has already started, and that always starts before the NFL does. So now I'm starting to dive in and see kind of what's going on. I'm excited for our Panthers. I get excited every year. I think there's a lot of good energy over there, so I'm always looking forward to getting out there the first game and seeing what our guys are all about.
Well, wait, how's the youth football thing going? Because I know that's like huge in your world, and you do it with a bunch of great friends of yours. Give me the rundown. Give me the scouting report on your team.
Oh, we picked up 2 new good coaches this year. So Greg Olson's a head coach. His dad, Chris Olson, coached in New Jersey for a long time, won a ton of state championships. And we picked up 2 new guys this year. Todd Blackledge has been a great addition for us. He lived in Charlotte. Greg hooked up with him before the season started and said, hey, you should join us. And then the newest addition is Jonathan Stewart. So
Amazing.
We got a ton of offensive guys. Stu's got the running backs. Todd is obviously an ex-quarterback. Greg and his dad are both offensive guys. So I got a full show of offensive guys. So I gotta try to find a way to get some defensive guys in the coaching staff moving forward.
But these are all like your former teammates. I remember talking to you and Jonathan Stewart at an amazing FanDuel event in Carolina, launching sports betting in the great state. And they all have kids. You're just doing it. You don't have like a nephew or anybody out there. You're just like wanting to like go out there and stop offenses. You have no real connection to these kids.
Yeah, I think it's fun though. So obviously Tate, I've known Tate Olson since when I moved to Charlotte. He had just turned a year old. So I've known Greg and Kara's kids for a long time, but it's such a great opportunity for us to have convenient excuses to hang out with each other. So now that Stu's there, we're just growing our group of buds that are go coach youth football.
Let's talk about year of the McCaffrey wedding. You mentioned Greg Olson, Tate, the whole family. Everyone went crazy about this sweaty, fun, I call him most valuable wedding guest. Like, he is the MVWG at the McCaffrey wedding. Why would you think this was so surprising to people? What was going on here?
I don't think it's surprising. Greg could be a professional wedding guest. You could tell him to come. He's going to bring great energy. He's going to have a ton of fun. If you need him to get on the microphone and make a toast, he might not even know you, but he's going to dominate that. He's just a great guy to have at the wedding. That wedding was a ton of fun. It was up in Rhode Island. A bunch of the guys from the Panthers, a couple of Niners were there, a bunch of his college and high school buddies. It was a great time, just a great opportunity to go see all of our buddies that we haven't seen in a long time.
Did you pull Greg aside for any part of it, and were you like, let's really talk about this youth football game that we have? The season's opening up. Were you guys like in the corner drawing on cocktail napkins?
The first night we did, because now Ryan Khalil is coaching his son. And so we were exchanging ideas, and I don't think it doesn't take very long for us to get out there and try to figure out, all right, how are we going to play this year? Are the kids going to throw the ball more? And that's the issue with moving up in youth football is every year, especially in grade school football, things change. As the kids get older, they can throw the ball more. How does that affect what we do on the defensive side of the ball? As you can tell, it's super important that we know what we're doing on defense. So
yeah, year of the McCaffrey on offense. Madden cover boy, freshly married. He's got MVP odds. I'm sure they'll tell me in my ear what it is on FanDuel. Oh, it's plus 5,000. Plus 5,000 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. Would you throw in with the Niners this year if you had to pick an NFC team right now? Would you go all in with them?
Absolutely. I had an opportunity to play against Kyle Shanahan pretty much every year. I was in the NFL sometimes multiple times when he was with the Falcons. I love what they do on offense. I think it's difficult. The shifts, the motions, the wide zone, the play action off of that is just so challenging. And then you look at what they have on the offensive side of the ball skill-wise. Purdy's going into year 3. He's established himself as a really high-end quarterback. Christian obviously speaks for himself. Kittle, huge check. Debo, and then Ayuk. You know, they just have so many options to get the ball to in different areas on the field that it's so challenging, and then that defense is really good as well. So that's my team. Obviously, Christian's one of my best buds. He had a phenomenal season last year. Obviously, looking forward to another one from him this year as well.
What was Brock Purdy like at the McCaffrey wedding?
Ton of fun.
What does that mean?
He's I like how he is. I like his energy. We talked to some of the guys about him, like, what's he like? They said he's even keeled. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And when you talk about that, you think, if this guy must be stiff, he might not be any fun. But he's got some subtle sarcasm. He's dry. He's fun to be around. He was on the dance floor having a good time. All those guys, man, all those guys in that Niners team, I'm so happy for Christian that he's with a group of dudes that just love ball. They love each other. They love hanging out. You can tell that crew that was there from the Niners reminds me a lot of what we had in Carolina with, Thomas and Greg and Stu and Olsen and Cam, and I'm sure I'm missing some guys, Charles. We just had a great group of guys, and now Christian gets to have that same group of dudes in San Francisco.
And so much of, I think, going into this year, any question about the Niners outside of maybe Shanahan and some decision-making or whatever to not being able to quite get there would be just can they get off the mat mentally? And it sounds like from everything you're saying, like they're full steam ahead.
Absolutely. They've played twice in the Super Bowl with a large part of that team. Obviously, Purdy wasn't there, Christian wasn't there, but Kittle and all those dudes were there. So they get the big stage. They've been on the big stage. And the other thing, too, is they've been the team that people have been chasing for the last couple of years. And if you're not used to that, that's a heavy burden. But they've been that team the last couple of years. So going into this season, people are going to be chasing them again. And it's going to be nothing new to them.
Yeah, let's talk about your team. You mentioned Carolina there. Panthers head coach Dave Canales said that Bryce Young's very comfortable as a leader, but he's not going to be vocal. That's what he said. And Jadeveon Clowney actually said this about his new quarterback a couple of weeks ago. Take a listen.
Yeah, I know he's just trying to fill it out. When you're a rookie, you don't want to step, but everybody's expecting bigger things from you because you're the quarterback. That's the only thing he don't know right now. Like, we kind of trying to pull him up there because he's the quarterback, The quarterback to me, is like one of the biggest pieces in the National Football League. You know that. Everybody buy into their quarterback, the play of his quarterback. They carry the team. So we need Bryce to energy. Like I tell everybody, it's all about his energy. If he believe it or not, we want to see you believe it or feel it.
I don't know if I love hearing this from him. I want, what is Jadeveon saying there? That he needs him to be more vocal, more something else? Is it okay if Bryce Young is a quiet quarterback?
I think when you look at leadership and what that looks like and what guys believe, I think you got to be yourself. And I think yourself naturally comes through as you get older, as you get more comfortable. That was one thing that all the older guys always told me, especially guys like Thomas. I got to learn from a really good leader that was very vocal. And he always told me, he said, hey, be true to yourself. Whatever that true to yourself is who you need to be, because guys on the team have been around long enough that they understand when you're being who you are and when you're putting on a front. So I think Bryce has to continue to be himself, continue to be comfortable. I think that the vocal ability of Bryce just comes with time. You look at last season, how last season went. It was a struggle, but I always kind of go back to what were these guys like in college? If you asked Will Anderson, what was Bryce like in college? I don't think there would have been any question if he was the leader of that team. There would have been no question if he was a guy that they felt like was vocal, a guy that they felt like was energy. I think Bryce is very intelligent. I think he watches a lot before he makes his move. I think he's very thought out. I think he does things on purpose. And yeah, he's quiet. But I think moving forward, he's going to be fine. I think he's going to find his footing. I think one thing that you've heard a lot from Canales and the guys over there is the relationships that he's been able to curate with the guys. And a guy like Bryce that comes in, I think as he continues to develop relationships with the people in the building, the guys on the team, all that stuff's going to come forward. I think he's got everything he needs to be a good leader. I think it's just he's going to do it when it feels right for him.
What do you need to see out of him out there?
Oh, man. I'd love to see the ball get down the field a little bit more. That's the biggest thing for me, and that's not all on Bryce. I think the ball getting down the field for us helps in a lot of ways. Number one, I think it creates space on the defense. If, you pack the box, you got 8 in the box, that safety playing in the post is at 10, 12 yards. There's nowhere to throw the ball underneath. There's nowhere to run the ball. But with the threat of the downfield pass and ability of guys to go vertical, there becomes these voids in the defense, especially in zone, that make life so much easier. So, it starts up front. We struggled last year. I think we gave up over 60 sacks, and obviously that's unacceptable, but we spent a lot of money on the offensive side of the ball in free agency with our two guards, Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis were two guys that we paid a lot of money to secure Bryce's interior. And, you look at what New Orleans did for Drew when Drew got there. They signed two big hosses that played guard, and Austin Corbett's our center, big physical presence. And then Taylor Moton's been a rock on the right side for a long time. And then we need a little bit more from Icky this year moving forward, and he even admitted that. So I think some space on the field helps a lot, and I think that starts with our guys up front, and Dan Morgan and the coaches have done a good job of addressing that issue this offseason.
And then do you have faith? Is Xavier Legette, is Deontay Johnson, are those the guys that can open it up? And I'm looking at like the weaponry around this young quarterback, pun intended, to sort of get it done. Are these the guys to help make it happen?
I think moving forward, definitely, yeah. I mean, we need some guys to play a little bit better, right? So, we need some more from our second-round draft pick, Mingo, out of last year. He's got everything. Big, he's strong, he can fast. We just need a little bit more. We'd love to get a little bit more from Miles Sanders. But I think, you talk about Legette. The one thing that excites me about him is I feel like he loves football. Every time you watch his interviews, you watch him on the field, I feel like he's got a smile on his face. He's happy to be there. He loves ball, and he just wants to catch the ball, play physical, run through contact, and he can get down the field. So I think that we're in the process of improving that. I think the Deontay Johnson thing is going to be a bigger deal than what we think. Obviously Thielen is going to be able to control kind of the slot, the middle of the field, but you need a guy on third down that can just go get open. They're going to play man. You're going to have inside help. They're going to try to funnel you there. Who can just go straight up win one-on-one man coverage? And that's what he does really well. So like I said, do we have a Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill? Not right now, but do we need that? No, we just need guys that fit the system, fit well together, and then that can fit in different areas on the field. Adam Thielen, middle of the field. Legette hopefully can get down the field, and then Deontay Johnson can play outside and just uncover and beat one-on-one coverage. So I'm excited with what we have moving forward.
Talk a little defense. There's a bit of a debate. I know you're not on social media very often, but there's a linebacking debate heating up online, my friend. You, as we discovered in our meeting this morning, you were the last off-ball linebacker to win Defensive Player of the Year way back in 2013, which is insane. I need you to tell me which off-ball linebacker has the best shot. And we'll take a look at the FanDuel odds here if it might help you, but you can go whichever way you'd like, Luke.
Okay, so I think those first two guys are the guys that I would say have the best opportunity, and not to take anything away from Bobby. Obviously, I trained with Bobby. We're the same class. He's a Hall of Famer tomorrow. But those first two guys are like young in their prime. Roquan, to me, is like a tone setter, physical energy. He's the perfect guy to play Mike linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. He's around the football. He's a tackle machine. He's got thump, he's got attitude, he's got edge. He encompasses what Baltimore Ravens are. I don't think he doesn't tackle guys, he runs through guys. And I love watching that. And then I've got a soft spot for Fred Warner because I feel like he is just so smooth. I think he's very intelligent. I think he's attacks the line of scrimmage, and he's really good in the pass game. So those are my top two guys right now. They play the game a little bit differently from each other. One AFC, one NFC guy, so it kind of works out perfully.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you get away with that. I don't know.
I'm going to go Roquan then. I'm going to go Roquan because
what gives him the edge? Thumping?
I like his tenacity, his energy, the way he plays linebacker reminds me a lot of Thomas Davis.
Yeah,
just powerful, physical energy, passion. Him at the center of that Ravens defense just makes me so excited.
You're making me miss football so badly.
Oh, it's coming. Don't worry.
When you start talking about dudes running through guys, just the way you're animated about it, it's amazing. So, is the Ravens sound like a pretty good Super Bowl pick? Honestly, what's the hole in the Ravens? I'm trying to think what could go wrong.
I don't think there's a hole, and everyone always knocks Lamar because he can't win at the playoffs. But I mean, the guy's been to the playoffs every year except 1 year, right? He needs to be healthy. He's missed some games. He missed the playoffs. Was that 22? He missed some time in the playoffs. But if he's healthy, I think they've got a fantastic opportunity because they can run the ball. And you bring Derrick Henry in, and they just start handing the ball off and pounding and pounding and pounding it, and they play good defense.
Yeah.
And in cold weather games, it is so difficult to stop the run, and it's also really difficult when that quarterback is just running around everywhere with Lamar. The worst thing that happens is you guard everybody, you sit in zone coverage, you guard everybody for the first 4 or 5 seconds, and boom, Lamar starts running around, and you're chasing guys, and then you're chasing Lamar, and then they get back in the huddle, and you chase Lamar 25 yards, and then they pound the ball with power. They put Derrick Henry back there, they put Patrick Card back there, and they run load power right at you, and it's just like, God, like, when is this gonna stop? So I think if they can just play their game, I think they've got a great shot.
You know, your former teammate Cam Newton on his podcast recently said that Lamar Jackson is the best dual threat quarterback of all time. All time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see Cam's MVP season firsthand. Would you take peak Lamar or peak Cam?
I'm partial to Cam, and I'll say this. I think that playing against Cam Newton would be so difficult because of how physical he was. He's big, he's physical. Lamar is a pain to tackle. He's a pain to get your hands on. He's a pain to keep in the pocket. But you can get on him, you can get him on the ground. With Cam, he's running through you on 3rd down and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and goal, 3rd and 2 at the 2-yard line. You know exactly what play's coming. He's going to be 6'5", 265, running power with Tolbert as a lead blocker, and it's like, good luck.
I mean, Cam out there is bigger than most defensive linemen. Like,
he's huge.
So
he's
stupid.
all of 6'5". He was 2'6". I don't care what his weight said. They always had him at 245, and I was like, that's just not correct. So
training camp's almost here. What's your best Cam Newton training camp story?
So
you have it ready to go. I love it.
Yeah, I've got 2 of them. I just remember we were playing. This was 2015, down in Wofford, and it was hot halfway through training camp, and we were really good on defense that year. We were really good on offense that year, and that was the year that Josh Norman kind of came out of his shell. He had a couple pick sixes early, was locking guys down the whole year, and Cam and Josh had been going back and forth all practice. Cam was throwing at Josh, completing balls. They were running their mouths. And Cam threw a pick to Josh. And Josh ran it back for a touchdown, and the whole time was waving at Cam, pointing at him, yelling at him. Cam goes over, grabs Josh, and there's a picture of everybody around Cam and Josh, and Cam is holding Josh, like pushing him to the ground, and he's smiling. And it is like prototypical Cam, smile on his face, but just the biggest guy on the field. And it was kind of one of those things where somebody's having an altercation with the quarterback. And typically it's like, hey, everybody go defend the quarterback.
Right.
And when it was Cam, everyone's like, he doesn't need any
help.
Yeah. So there's a picture online, Cam in his red jersey, Josh, him yoking Josh up. Yeah. It is hilarious.
I remember the picture. I remember the fight. To me, it was a fight. I do. Tell me if this is a stretch, but I'm like I'm a drama queen. Oh my gosh, we have it.
Exactly.
By the way, Control Room, season 3 on fire. Like we did not plan this. I remember this, but I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, this moment, this fight sparked something. Like this was like the intensity, like this sparked a Super Bowl run situation, in my opinion. I remember thinking back on this, like from an outside perspective, it was like, oh, they're ready to go.
I think it just shows the competitiveness of the team. You know, Cam and Josh, two of our most important players, didn't back down from each other, got into it. And then at the end of practice, it's like it never happened. Guys are joking about it. It's like it didn't happen. Cam's helmet got ripped off. Josh was yakking at him. They get separated. We go into the locker room, and it's like, it's just not a big deal. And I think it just shows how close all the guys were, number one. Number two, the competitive fire that everybody had. And number three, a lot of it that year was how good Ron was with the guys. He let us take care of ourselves. He let us police ourselves. He came up to some of the older guys and was like, "Hey, is everything good?" And everyone said, "Yeah, it's fine." And he never brought it up again. It was just, you guys go have fun, go compete, get into it. I need to see energy and passion. But at the end of the day, we're all on the same team, and let's do everything we can to win games moving forward.
It's a good coach and a good man right there. Last one for you. Your former coach, the Bills, they have a new defensive coordinator, but Sean McDermott hasn't decided who's calling plays on defense this season. He was your DC in Carolina, so you're a perfect person to ask. And I do believe he called plays on defense all last season. So, this Buffalo team needs to get over the hump. They've got Josh Allen, speaking of big, crazy quarterbacks that are huge and tough to take down and stop. What do you make of Sean McDermott and who should be calling plays on defense in Buffalo?
I thought he did a really good job last year in the defensive side of the ball. The guy they hired, his name's Bobby Babish. He was with me in Carolina. He was on Ron's staff in Carolina when I was a rookie, and he's been up there in Buffalo for a long time. So he gets what they're trying to do. I don't know the direction they're going to go with. I think whether Sean or Bobby calls it, they'll be in good shape. I think what's knocked them the last couple of years is just injuries. Their best guys have been banged up. They've been banged up in the secondary. Obviously, Von Miller missed a lot of time, but I love how McDermott calls games. I loved it when he called him in Carolina. For whatever reason, I felt like we were largely on the same page with what he was trying to do, whether he was pressuring on third down, whether he was playing zone on third down, how he wanted to call his run blitzes. I had a really good feel for him. I think he had a really good feel for me. So if I was playing backer up in Buffalo, I'd probably like it. If he was calling plays, the same thing with Bobby as well.
Amazing. Love to hear that. And given everything, they were still, I think, a top 5 defense all last year. Yeah. So hopefully they can get it going on offense without Stephon Diggs as well. Luke Kuechly, like you never left. I mean, go crush it. Enjoy like scheming up those I don't even know, youth football plays with your boy, with the Olsons and everybody involved. And I'm sure we'll talk to you down the stretch, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much.